of the many really, really cool vinyl box sets that I've seen over the years, without a doubt, one of the coolest ones I've ever seen, and I almost dare say had the pleasure of buying, was Weird Al Yankovic Squeeze Box. Not only is it a career-spanning box set, but there's also an extra LP in there of rarities and a book, and obviously really unique packaging. Now, if you're a longtime fan of the channel, you know I covered this box set when it first came out, when I first got my shipment of it back a couple of years ago. And Lauren, if you watch the channel at all, you know she is a huge Weird Al fan. So one of the things she got out of this union was me bringing with me the Squeeze Box set. So we thought, hey, it's been a couple of years since it's come out. More and more people now know about it, even because when it launched, for some reason, there was a lot of people who didn't know about it. And so who better than the badge she wears so with such honor, the Weird Al lady, to give your thoughts now on the Squeeze Box set. So we're going to try and do this like we do a normal vinyl review, touch on the same 4 points, but we will allow for some odd things that have come about since then, like collectability and so on and so forth. So, and when I say this will be, we'll try and do it as much as we can. Right off the bat, we always talk about packaging, which a lot of times is kind of like, oh, hey, this was a gatefold, or it wasn't, or it had inner sleeves or not. With this, all the way across the board, it's unique right from the start. So having said that, like when I ordered this is exactly what I envisioned, like the size accordion I thought we were going to get. And the first thing people complained about when it started landing in homes was people were like, oh, I thought the accordion was going to be real size. But all the mock-up pictures show that it should be about 12 inches.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to people. One of the biggest complaints I heard was, it doesn't play. I'm like, well,
yeah. And we'll circle back to this on price, but it was $2.99 at the time that it came out.
Yeah.
For a 15 LP set with a book and a plastic molded cover. Like,
you think it's going to play?
And you expected it to play. Like,
right.
That's very strange. So you have that. So just from the outside, like if you just saw this and the 15 LPs are in it, what do you think of the packaging overall?
Well, I mean, I think it's awesome. You can't put Weird Al music in a regular box, right? You just can't. Yeah. And then compounded by the fact that like this won him a Grammy for the packaging.
Right, yeah, just for the
just how the packaging is. I'm not going to argue with that.
No. I will throw out a couple of things that I threw out in my initial review, but I want to see if they matter to you. One thing is this sounds so silly, but the covers to the albums themselves, not the outer packaging, but the covers to the albums themselves, they're really thin, really, really, really thin. I'm going to throw a picture up so you can see, like, if you hold a normal album cover, it should just stay kind of flat, and you will see how unhappy this one looks. But they're also smaller than they should be. They're slightly smaller than they should be to fit into the accordion. The issue I have with that, and if you are a longtime viewer of this channel, you're going to be like, when's he going to mention the paper sleeves? Here it comes. I'm going to mention the paper sleeves. So the covers were smaller, slightly smaller than a traditional album cover, and the records inside were in paper sleeves. Normally, I just go whatever, and I throw the paper sleeves over my shoulder, and I put it in a right inner sleeve. But the covers are so small that you can't put the albums back in the cover if you put them in a rice paper sleeve.
Yeah.
So then I had to get outer sleeves for each one, right? So we know all of that bothers me. If you want to hear more about that, go watch the original video. Does that matter to you at all?
It wouldn't matter to me one bit.
Okay.
Because if I were to buy this like myself, I would have just kept everything in the accordion.
Okay. Like, well, yeah, but you would still listen to the records.
I would have listened to the records,
okay.
Yeah, but they would live in the accordion.
Oh, okay. As opposed to how we have them.
Right.
Okay. Got it. Got what you mean. Well, like my conscience won't allow the records to stay in the paper sleeves, though. You know what I mean? Because they'll get scuffed when you're going to play them. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand that.
But it wouldn't have bothered you.
It would not have bothered me because they would have just lived in the accordion. I wouldn't have known enough to know.
I asked you a question. Now I'm trying to argue with you on your answer.
Me.
Sorry about that. As far as the sound goes, do you hear any difference between the CDs that you've been used to for years or streaming these songs, like especially the albums that were never available on vinyl ever, so you never had a chance to hear? What do you think about the sound overall?
I mean, a little bit, given the fact that the ones that weren't available on vinyl to begin with are a little longer because they were released in CD in the first place. Everything, like you've kind of taught me this, that everything's a little squished,
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a better listening experience. I don't know if I hear a whole lot more different.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And especially because I had originals of everything leading up to, I think UHF was the last album.
No, I had those too.
Yeah. And they sound great, but we don't have anything really to compare the latter stuff to, if off the deep end on. So, again, for me, a lot of times with vinyl, I'm never the guy that's like, vinyl sounds better, and that's all there is to it. It's the experience of just getting out a copy of Straight Outta Linwood on vinyl is a unique and fun experience.
Yeah, because not everybody can do that.
Yeah. The next two things are the trickiest things we're going to cover in this. Price. When this released, I think this was pardon my French, gosh darn steal. $2.99 was what they charged for it. And I've argued with people about this over and over. People, oh, no, it wasn't that cheap. Yes, it was. I bought it. Like I own it. I know that it was that cheap. $2.99. I think maybe there was like $15 shipping. The big catch for it when it came out was that you had to take a leap of faith on it. You had to order it in like February or March, and they said up front, this is not even, you're not going to see this till like November. Yeah. So it wasn't like you could go in a store and go, ooh, she will be mine. Like, and know what you were getting. You just had to be like, I trust Al.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. So for price, I think it's obvious that for $300 that you would absolutely buy it over and over again. Mm-hmm. Okay. However, aftermarket is the thing. So if you, as of the filming of this video, the cheapest one out there that I could find on the internet was double the price, and it was in another country outside the U.S. So who even knows, with shipping and whatnot, for something odd size. The next lowest one was quadruple the price of them originally. So, I guess let me say this: knowing what you know about it now, we know $2.99 was a steal. What would you have priced this at initially?
That's a really good question. I mean, if they put it out and $500. $500.
That's about what I feel. Yeah. And one thing we didn't touch on, and we will throw up some pictures of it, is the book that's included. I don't think that we should go without mentioning the book.
And the shirt.
Yeah. And there was the Close Personal Friends of Al shirt. I used to own that shirt. But the book that comes with it, now you are well versed in several different Weird Al books. I think, me personally, being less of an expert than you, I think this book does what it's supposed to do.
It does.
Which is this is not the encyclopedia of all things Al. This is, hey, here's a scrapbook of member berries. Mm-hmm. Like, you remember that when you bought Polka Party? Well, here's us on tour for Polka Party.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the book?
Oh, it does that. I mean, it does. This box set is a visual experience, right? And this adds that visual component to it, in a way. Like, there's lots of wonderful pictures. Some you can't get anywhere else. Some you can.
Yeah, some you can, but a lot of stuff that you would, like, for me, like I said, it's a member berry thing. Like, I've told the story on our podcast before and on the channel. Like, UHF is a huge family memory thing for me because we were on a family trip when it came out. So for me to see the pictures of, like, when they were recording that, when they were on tour for it and stuff, is like, oh, this is what they were doing while I was, a kid enjoying this with my family. The last thing we always talk about is value. And on the channel, I say this ad nauseum on the channel. We're not here to go, we think you should spend this money on this. It's what our opinion is on the value. Now, we already talked about the price. I think for $2.99, it's a steal. Like, that value was over the moon there.
Yes.
What price now would you say, okay, even as an Al collector, like if I said, hey, there's one on Discogs and it's this price, what's the high price that you would go, okay, you know what, I'm going to order that? If you didn't order it.
If I didn't order it.
If you didn't own it already, rather.
That's a really good question. I mean, again, $500 is what this should have gone for. And so then thinking like in an aftermarket situation, I don't know that I'd pay more than like $700-800 for it, though.
Yeah.
Like, even considering all of it, I think it's crazy how, like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And we knew it was going to be limited, but like not as limited as it like, whew.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like half the people that bought them for resale or something.
I know. And I think ultimately, like, really what needs to happen is just fill in the gaps. You can buy a lot of his early catalog and Mandatory Fun. Just fill in the gaps.
And we have other videos on the channel. Like, we recently discussed the Stevie Nicks box set, and they just announced the other day they're going to do that with hers. The ones that were the later stuff, it's going to get released separately. But then, like 3 or 4 years ago, there was a career-spanning Ozzy box set, and they still haven't released the stuff outside of that. So who's to say who's going to do what?
Yeah.
You know. Plus, they would have to put these in retail sturdy covers. They'd have to redo the covers to release things. Anyways, so like I said before, we had a video on the channel before with my thoughts on this box set. So if you want to see like an initial reaction of what I thought then, go back and check that out. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But we thought it was worthwhile for the Weird Al fans who know Lauren from the Weird Al podcast, or people who just know her on the internet as the Weird Al lady. If you wanted to know her thoughts on it, we thought we'd throw it out there. If you have any questions that we didn't cover in this, or maybe if we just got to rambling at each other and didn't make our point clear, which is probably on me, please drop a comment and let us know. And one or both of us will get back to you as soon as we can. It's an awesome set. I knock on every accordion. I hope they reissue it in some form someday. But we just wanted to share with you our experience with the box. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.